Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 28th. This week you have this Earthly Focus card and this Stars and Timing card. I do think it's a good week to focus on being here on Earth, right? And so I think a lot of you could be kind of like grounding yourself this week, which I think would be great. I also feel like something, like it is time. You know, you have that Stars and Timing card. I feel like it's saying like something is ready to go. And sure, we'll take both of these. Why not? But, I think it's saying like the stars are aligned for you to get moving on something. And, that's basically it. You have the Chariot, which is like a quick victory or quick success, Libra. So if you're like working on something or, creating something, it could be something that happens very quickly with that Chariot energy. In your current general energies, you have the Nine of Wands, the Chariot, and the Eight of Pentacles. The Nine of Wands is a card of kind of like the wounded warrior. And so the Nine of Wands can be about putting up boundaries. Now, one thing I will say is that a lot of people have had the Nine of Wands this week, so there could be, and we have weird stuff going on, like Neptune and Saturn are both retrograding out of Aries, and also we still have Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded warrior, right? And so I didn't check the chart before I started, which I should have, but I'm only just realizing this right now, like literally with you, that everybody has had this. So I'm wondering if there's like something going on in the astrology that's triggering old wounds. The other problem that we have is Mercury retrograde in Leo. We had Mars go retrograde in Leo last year into this year. And so, it's basically retrograding almost exactly the same place that Mars did. And so, we could, if we had any wounds from like, think back to like November till May, basically, really, kind of somewhere in between there. If there were any wounds that happened to you during that time, you could be revisiting those things. But this is probably a good thing because the Nine of Wands is about putting up boundaries, So the Nine of Wands can say that, like, you have learned, how to avoid these situations, like whatever happened. And I feel like some of you could be, it's like, kind of like you're getting a second chance to avoid something that, happened to you in the past. So that's kind of what I get there. You have the Chariot, which can be a quick victory, which is great. The Chariot is about taking control. Chariot is a card of hard control. He's like really taking control of those reins and like really making something happen by taking control. He's also being pushed in a new direction. Now, again, I think that this is definitely something that Libra could be doing right now is, finding new directions to move in life. He is leaving the city behind him behind. So he's leaving everything he's ever known to move in a new direction, to create a new reality. He kind of looks like the magician, and he even has a wand that's like the magician's wand. So, like, sometimes I think about that with the Chariot, that he is like the magician in some ways, and he's, like, charging forward to create his own reality, and that's definitely popping into my head for you. I think that a lot of you could be doing that. A lot of things on the Chariot represent manifestation as well, just like the magician. Specifically, he has these moons or these stars in his canopy, these moons on his shoulders, which represents as above, so below. So in a lot of ways, he is, manifesting something here on Earth by being in alignment. And so a lot of you could be manifesting things very quickly here, Libra. You have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles, like straightforward, diligent work. I do feel like it is kind of like a straightforward week for you, which is good this week because, I don't know, I just feel like it is. Other people's readings were a little bit more chaotic this week, and yours just looks a little bit more straightforward, I would say, than everybody else's. Like, you could just be working, and that is probably good based off of everybody else's reading. So I don't think this is a bad thing. I really like the Eight of Pentacles because it can represent material success on the horizon. It can basically say that you're getting paid for work that you've done in the past. And so a lot of you could be getting paid for work that you've done in the past, or you could be getting some rewards. But I also feel like work that you are doing now is going to greatly benefit you in the future. So, for those of you that are thinking about, working on new projects or working on new ideas, it could be a really good time for you to do that with this Eight of Pentacles. It might lead to a lot of success. So, yeah, I like that. I didn't want to do that. So we're going to clarify this first row. Sorry, I was going to totally skip the clarification. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Five of Swords. it's like I think you've outgrown certain things and that you're having that realization this week. Kind of a random message. It just popped into my head with that Nine of Wands and this Five of Swords. It's like sometimes I think we need things to protect us and then we don't. It's like we don't need those things any longer, you know? And so I feel like this is just saying you're just going through changes here, Libra, and things are changing in your life. I feel like you could be cutting certain things out, walking away from things. But it's like I feel like you're realizing that you no longer need certain things in your life. And I know that's a very general statement, but it is very general. For some of you, I think it's like you don't need certain beliefs anymore, or it's like maybe you don't need to protect yourself in certain areas of your life anymore because you've outgrown the need. It's kind of like you've risen above it. That is the words that I'm looking for right there, Libra. It's like you've risen above something. It's kind of like one of those things where I think it takes I don't know, I'm a slow person, so it takes me about 20 years longer than everybody else to learn lessons and things like that, right? But it's like I've just noticed this over the years that it's like sometimes I think we try to do like the example I always use is love because it's just the easiest example. It's like we do things to try to protect ourselves so that we don't get hurt. But really, by doing that, we are pretty much guaranteeing that we are going to get hurt. Because usually the things we do to protect ourselves push the other person away in the first place. So it's like, what I mean by rising above things is like, to rise above that, you have to realize that there's nothing you can do to protect yourself. And you might as well just enter, if you want the experience of love in life, you have to risk getting hurt. And there's nothing you can do to control it, right? The only thing you can do is pay attention to the evidence and be a good breaker-upper, right? I think we all need to be better breaker-uppers, just in general. We all know when something isn't going to work much sooner than we let on, right? So, I think we all probably could end bad relationships much sooner, and that would get us closer to good ones faster. And, it just seems to me like you're rising above these things. Like, again, instead, it's like you're skipping protection and you're just going straight to, I can't protect myself anyway. But that doesn't mean that you're not protected, right? It's like you're kind of rising above it. With the Chariot, you have the Page of Wands. I mean, we're in a time of adventure. You have Page of Wands twice. We have Uranus and Gemini, which is the opposite of Sag. Gemini is, the opposite sign of Sagittarius. And we had Jupiter in Gemini as well. And so, I don't know, there's something about that I think has, even though it's not in Sagittarius, I still think that for the past year or so, the universe has wanted us to be more adventurous. The Page of Wands, he just goes on an adventure because it's exciting to him. He doesn't really have a good reason for doing anything. He just does it because it might bring him joy. It might bring him fulfillment and happiness. So, I think it would be a good time to go on adventures here. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups definitely could be a strong connection. There is a little bit of love here. You have this great big love card. You have the Emperor with the King of Cups. So there you go, Libra. Definitely could be a very strong connection. Two of Cups is usually different than your usual type, so it could be someone who is very different than your usual type. The other thing that's popping into my head is moon sign is popping into my head. So and here's what I mean by that is that I think, and by the way, I think this is true in love in the frickin' first place, number one, is that really we should be looking at the moon for love. And not only that, we should also be looking at Venus and Jupiter. So, I think sun sign compatibility is total BS, right? And so I think moon, Jupiter, Venus, right, is what we should be looking at. But what I am getting here is that what's different is I think that your moon is more compatible with this person's moon. Obviously, we have a rule here at Minnow Tarot. We don't ask for people's birth information until date number 5, right? So you have to hook the person. If you drop the astrology on them right now, they're going to say run away, right? And on top of that, here's the problem. If you're dating men, what's going to happen is that they're going to contact their mother because they don't know what time they were born. They don't know any of that. And so basically their mother is going to say run away. It's an astrology girl, run away, right? So date number 5, you got to get them hooked first. Then you can ask the astrology information, right? There you go. Rant over. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Spirit of Gratitude card and this Great Big Love card. I think that you will be very grateful if you're attracting a person into this person into your life. I also don't feel this is only a person. I feel that the King of Cups is about having very deep emotions. And so this could be something that makes you feel emotionally very happy. You have the Ten of Cups, which is also ultimate happiness in the tarot. So, take it how it resonates. Could be love for some of you. Could just be, a project you're going to work on or something that you're going to do with your life. But, by the way, I think as a collective, I think it is our job to bring more happiness into the world. I always say this to you, Libra, now that I think about it, because you always get the 10 of Cups with me, right? And so, literally, I think we are in a time where we have to fill the world with more happiness and joy because the opposite is happening, right? So that's why. And, that's what I would do here. And you could do this by doing more of what you love. You have the Emperor, the King of Cups, the Hangman, and the Three of Wands. So you could be attracting an Emperor type person into your life, and they could be more of a King of Cups. They could be a water sign. Doesn't have to be. You have water and fire really stand out in this reading as always. I'm pretty sure you always get fire with me, so take it how it resonates. Just find a good person, like I said. Like I also said, this could be their moon sign. They could be a fire moon. They could be a fire or an air moon or a water moon is what I meant to say with the King of Cups. So take it how it resonates. But I do think it could be a very good person. The other thing is that this could be you taking control of your emotions. The King of Cups is sitting in the middle of the ocean, and he has these choppy waters around him, but he is perfectly fine because he is in control of his emotions. That's the whole point of the King of Cups, is that he's in control of his emotions. And so I think the more in control you can be of your emotions, the better with the King of Cups energy. You have the Hangman. I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me. I literally just switched decks. Right here was the deck that I just used for Gemini. I try to switch decks every single sign. So it's weird to me. But where I'm going with this is that everybody this week has basically had the Hangman. So there's clearly new perspectives that are being shown to us in the world. He's hanging upside down, so he's looking at something differently. And it's kind of like a very general message, and it's hard to describe, but I do feel we all need to look at everything from new perspectives, or we need to look at things in life just from different points of view. That's not very helpful advice. I get that, Libra, but, it's definitely something that I would do with that card. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is expansion. I think this is also something that would be amazing for Libra to do, is to take up more space. I think this is a very air sign thing, but I definitely feel it's more true for Libra. I think doing things that are bigger than yourself, doing those things that are hard for you to do. We're talking about a little bit of a stretch, public speaking, for example. If that would be hard for you to do, it's maybe the growth you would get from that is going to lead to a lot of expansion, right? So those are the types of little, the Three of Wands is popping into my head as almost like little challenges that you give to yourself. It's, what would you do if you were 1,000 times more bold? That's the question that I would be asking myself with the Three of Wands if I were you, Libra. And, I would go and try and do those things, even if you just do it on a small scale, right? Maybe you're afraid of talking in front of people. It's maybe you need to sit your cat down and give your cat a speech, right? I don't know, start small, right? Doesn't matter. I'm not even joking when I say these things. It's I am a slow person. I hit my head when I was 10 years old. No joke. People think I'm joking about that as well. It's true. I fell off of a bunk bed. After that, I went from literally an A/B student to a D student, literally overnight, never got better, right? So, because I hit my head, right? So, totally messed me up. And what I would say here is if I can do it, you can do it. I had to start super small years ago and work up from there. So I think doing that, it changed my life. I think it could change yours too. And with the Emperor and the King of Cups, it's almost like you've asked for something and the universe is just sure, here you go, right? So I don't know, if you've asked for love or if you're asking for a specific person, I basically feel like the universe is saying yeah, it's a victory, here you go. But maybe you're a little bit scared about it, but I don't know, if you ask for something, I would make your move towards it because I feel like it's pretty much a guaranteed yes. With the Hangman, you have the King of Pentacles here. King of Pentacles is a card of stability, and he is a card of wealth building. And I feel a lot of you are working on wealth building. You have the Eight of Pentacles. So whatever you're doing work-wise, I would keep doing it because I do feel you could be increasing your finances. And it might not happen overnight. Again, Eight of Pentacles can be something that happens over time, but that's perfectly fine. With the Three of Wands, you have the Three of Wands. Yes, take up more space. Again, do those little things. What would Libra do if Libra was 1,000 times more bold? What actions would you take? What would you do if you were that type of person? And, that's what I would take action on with the Three of Wands. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this running late card. It says urgency, overwhelmed, and striving. I would avoid this energy like the plague, right? We'll talk about this in a second. You have this question card. It says surroundings, guides, and circumstances. I think this running late card, it says striving. I feel like you need to not strive. It's like things, it's almost like saying you shouldn't struggle, or you shouldn't be doing things that are like hard work, right? Or that you feel you have to do urgently. It's like those are the things I would avoid for sure. The question card, what would I do if I were 1,000 times bolder? That's the question you need to ask yourself. You have the Six of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Five of Cups. I almost feel like the universe is handing you something on a silver platter. I'm not saying it's going to be easy because I feel like there's a little bit of fear in moving towards it, but it's almost like the universe is like, sure, you can have what you want if you take the steps necessary to grab this, but that's literally what's popping into my head. It's like the universe is saying, sure, you can have this thing that you desire, but you're going to have to start taking the steps. And the problem is most people ask the universe for things and then they doubt it. So I kind of feel like this is saying, like, don't doubt what you're doing or what you're thinking here with the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands can also just be like a victory. I do feel like some of you, this could be like a raise or a promotion. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this here. I would go for one too. Like, it's also popping into my head that if you see if you know an opening is coming up, I would go for it. Sometimes I feel the Six of Wands can be you overcoming competition because he's been to war and he's being celebrated as the winner. So even if there's like competition for a position you want or something that you want, I would go for it because I think it could be successful for you. Next, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, definitely time to go on the adventure. Any adventure that you're thinking about going on, anything that you're thinking about doing, I would do it. Everybody gets the Page of Wands nowadays, and I really feel the universe is trying to get us back to that happy-go-lucky type of energy, probably because there's the opposite in the energy, right? It's like whenever the energy swings one way, the universe tries to get us to go the other direction so that we can get what we want. And, it's like my favorite, I think it's Louise Hay used to say, like, people used to ask her, like, why do bad things have to happen? And she basically used to say, well, if you're sweeping up your floor and you can't see the dirt, how can you clean it up, right? So it's like right now we're in a time of dirt. We all need to whip out our vacuum and clean it up. How do we do that? We choose to be happy, right? No matter what is going on around us. And that's what I would do here with the Page of Wands. And the Ten of Cups, for sure. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is about gratitude. Like, I always say the fives have very easy solutions. He's grieving the loss of something he no longer has, but if he were to turn around, he would see these two cups, and he would get this bridge in the castle. So he needs to choose happiness, basically, is what the card says. And if he chooses happiness, and then, and he's grateful for these two cups, he'll get this bridge in the castle. With the Six of Wands, yes, this card said urgency, overwhelm, striving. It's like if you feel like you are like forcing something to happen, I would be careful of that. Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. But I wish I could clarify that message more. Sometimes I just can't. And I don't know. I don't make stuff up as a reader. So it's like sometimes it's like what I'm trying to say isn't exactly clear. But it's like I feel like that urgency thing is saying like you should avoid things that are making you feel like I got to get this done, right? I think the things that are going to be good for you this week it's going to be like smooth. It's going to be, just easy going. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but just like easy going, easy flowing. It's not going to be high pressure, stress. It's not going to make you feel like this girl right here. It's not going to make you feel like you're chasing a train that's running away from you, right? And that's what I would pay attention to here. Also, the whole striving thing, right? I talk about this a lot. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but it's like I see this a lot on social media where it's like all of a sudden I'll see someone who just like blows up on social media, like on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and they'll claim to be an expert about something. And, they grow very, very quickly. And, whether they're an expert or not doesn't matter. What I find very interesting about those people is they just are the thing that they say. They give that energy off, whether they are or they aren't, right? And it's just something I've noticed where it's like, there's like this energy that I have noticed from people who just claim something. Like they just claim that they are the expert, right? But they have a certain energy to them. And so those people are not striving. They just are, right? I feel like this reading is saying, this is Libra just saying, I just am. Meaning you, not me. And there you go. You need to like claim an energy or something. With the Page of Wands, you have the King of Wands. King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. Typical fire sign, all up in your business as well. Here, Libra, you have everything. You have water, earth, fire. We're just missing the King of Swords. If we had the King of Swords here, that would basically be the Emperor, right? With the Five of Cups, yes, happiness is the answer here in your reading. You have the Sun. The Sun is the best card in the deck, makes the whole entire reading more positive. But, definitely could be a very happy week for you here, Libra. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Time is Up card. It says no second chance, no revisiting. There's something better waiting. You have this Deeply Rooted in Love card, great big love over here. It says something is emerging from the depths of your intimate most desires. Yes, definitely. I think you need, this is saying that something is growing from your heart this week, and it's going to make you very happy. That's it. You have the Six of Cups, the Four of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. The Six of Cups is like a turnaround. Sometimes I think the Six of Cups is a gift from the universe, and usually the gift we receive from the card is, obstacles being removed from our life, or like a turnaround. So there could be some sort of turnaround here. Definitely could be a soulmate as well. I don't read the Six of Cups as a past person. To me, it's a new person, and it doesn't even represent a past person. I know every reader reads it that way, but that's not what it means. It's a card of innocence and nostalgia. Nostalgia says you can think about the past, but it doesn't mean the past is coming back. So, what I would say here is that, I think that you could be thinking about the past, some of you, but for the most part, I think it's a soulmate, new soulmate. You have the Four Cups. Four Cups can be you receiving an offer that actually is better. I'm pretty sure I said this to you in one of your recent readings over the past couple months, because I remember titling one of your videos something about, the grass is greener on the other side. The Four Cups normally says the grass is not greener on the other side, but the Four Cups in the good stuff can say that the grass is greener on the other side. So, I feel that if you're getting an opportunity to get something that you lost, or to get another chance at something, that this is basically saying that you have all the ingredients necessary here to make a new opportunity very successful. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups can be a blessing in disguise. Can also be happy home, happy family, can be love, can be fortune after difficulty. So that's kind of what I feel for you. But really, these people are focusing on these 10 cups. They're choosing to be happy, so they're choosing happiness, right? With the Six of Cups, you have the Strength card. I feel like some of you are getting something you've been waiting a long time for as well. Again, this is a deep... I wouldn't call this a deep reading, actually, Libra, but I just think there's a lot going on in this reading for you. And this might not even be just this week. This might be something that continues for the next little while, for the next few months. With the Four of Cups, here you go, Page of Cups. Definitely could be a much better love connection coming in for you here if this is a love offer. So I think it would be worth it. It's like sometimes with the Two of Cups, I think we can maybe question a person, or, it can be a person who's different, like I said. So sometimes we might be like, I don't know if I want to go out with this person or not. But I don't know, it looks pretty good to me, so I would give it a chance. For some of you, it's not even love. I think this could be like an offer or something. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Queen of Cups. There we go. King and Queen of Cups here, which are divine counterparts. So you definitely are, could be attracting a divine counterpart. Again, the Queen of Cups is your heart, though. So again, if you don't want love, and even if you do, I think most of you, it's like you're attracting a lot here. A lot of things that are going to make you feel very fulfilled. You have this Resistance card. Everybody has had this. I kid you not. This deck has 700 cards in it, and everybody has had this card this week practically. So, it's one of those weeks where I just feel like we could be feeling resistance. The trick with resistance is to not give up. We have to push through it. And I do feel like this is the type of resistance you should push through, because it's not bad resistance. I think there are two types of resistance. There's resistance that says, don't do this, right? That type of resistance. But there's also resistance that's like, hey, you're growing your muscles. It's like, good resistance is like lifting weights, right? And, we have to increase weight to grow our muscles, right? And so that's the type of resistance I'm feeling here. And so I think you have to push through it. You have this Negotiation card. This is Jupiter and Libra, this card. So, it could be a good week for you to negotiate something. I also feel, again, if there is a job that, if there's, I think there's a chance you should take at work for those of you that have a job. It feels to me like there's a opportunity coming up. Maybe not this week, but in the future. And I feel like you should go for it, for sure. You have this companionship card. Yeah, probably attracting a true companion here if you're wanting love. The funny thing is, I also feel like this person challenges you, like in a good way. This person's definitely not a pushover. I don't know why that's popping into my head, but I feel like this person has a backbone. Maybe that's what you're looking for, Libra, right? Like some people want that, right? A person who stands up to you, a person who sticks up for themselves. It's like obviously no one wants to date a freaking snail, right? With no backbone, who's just a pushover. No one wants that, really. So, that's what I would say here is like I feel like this person has a backbone. It's popping into my head for some reason as being important. I mean, maybe you have dated weak people in the past. I'm not saying that like weak as in, I'm trying to be a jerk here or anything. I'm just saying like some people are pushovers, right? And I think you're kind of like this is going to be a person who has a backbone. You have this health card. Yeah, everybody's had a health card this week because it's a time of health. I don't know. I think we should be taking care of ourselves, of course. You have this drama card. I would avoid drama at all costs because Mercury is retrograde almost exactly where Mars went retrograde. And so it's like calling back that energy. And yeah, I would just avoid drama, plain and simple. But this looks pretty good, Libra. I like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.